How you doing? First of all, love the pilot. Like, you are Supergirl, you owned it.
Thank you.
Secondly, like, as you're getting into this role and so on, you've been, I'm sure Jeff Johns, people like that is giving you tons of things to read up on. So what have you loved about discovering this character both on the show as well as in the comics?
Well, what I love about Kara is that she's in this process of discovering herself. This really is like, I look at it as a coming of age story. I love when she finds her strength and when she owns it. That is my favorite, those are my favorite parts to play, when she has no fear.
Now, I've seen you did a ton of research on this, and you maybe read a lot of the comics, maybe saw the animated series. What was some of your favorite stories you remember that you did in that research?
Well, I read a lot of the New 52. I don't know.
What are they like about the character that you found in your research?
I think there's like this, I think that she has this lovely naivete of it, I love that she has a knowledge of where she comes from and has this kind of, I think her history is so sad that she knew. I mean, Kal-El had no idea what the planet or what his parents were like, and she has a very clear that she grew up. And I think that's a really beautiful, sad story that really informs who she is.
Sarah was talking a lot about accessibility and relatability for teenage girls and what Supergirl is doing. Could you talk a little bit about how this is really just how it's also a story just about identity and finding yourself and being okay with your powers as a woman?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sort of going through it on my own right now. I don't think you're ever done learning about yourself, especially as a woman. We're complicated, like multifaceted creatures and very flawed, and that's what I love about. That's another thing I love about Kara, is that she is constantly messing up, and she doesn't really know. She's kind of flying by the seat of her pants half the time, as in our pilot, with what we've done so far. And I just love that. I love that there's room to grow, and that it shows that no one ever has it all figured out, no matter how many powers people have, And it's funny, I knew that this was going to be a facet of it, to be a role model for young girls, but the crew members would be bringing their daughters on set. And until I saw them in person when I was in the suit, I didn't realize what it was going to feel like, and that was powerful.
Amazing things for this audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did it feel putting on this Supergirl suit?
Of course, I felt like I was on top of the world the first time I put it on. It's impossible not to feel this internal shift of just like strength and bravery. It makes me feel brave wearing it.
How, when you were growing up, were you were you a big fan of comic book and comic book movies and stuff like that? Or
I watched the movies more. I wasn't much of a comic book reader when I was younger until college. My closest friend is a huge comic book reader and graphic novels. So I kind of read some of them when I was in college. But I loved Michael Keaton as Batman. I grew up on those movies. Yeah, I was a fan.
Any TV shows?
Definitely a sci-fi fan in general.
Or any TV shows you like in the superhero genre? Like,
I liked Lois and yeah.
And now he's your dad.
I know. He's so nice too.
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to? I'm sorry.
How important is it for you to be able to play a female superhero that young women look up to? I look at it as such a privilege and a responsibility to just to show people that you can have strength and be a strong woman without thinking that, without people, I think so often these days, it's kind of assumed that if you're strong and powerful, you're not really the nicest person, or you're maybe the ITCH or what have you. But I want to show girls that you can spread positivity and hope through your strength, and I don't know. That was horrible. So sorry. I'm like, my head is off my shoulder.